Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am driving the bus by myself tonight. It is a solo show for the coach here, and I'm going to be going over the Game 6 of the Denver Nuggets and LA Clippers. So we are going to break that down and get ready for what is going to be an incredible Sunday of sports. We have football, baseball, and basketball all going, locking at almost the same time. And then we're following through on golf final round tomorrow that we put out there earlier in the week. So it is all four sports in their full glory here. So it's going to be very, very exciting. The NBA game that we're looking at, it's for Sunday, September 14th, and the game is a 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern game. So it's, for some reason, they have it starting right up against football, which is pretty bizarre, but it is what it is. So let's, before we get started real quickly here, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, and that is BetUS. Go to betus.com.pa, and they will set you up for all of your sports wagering needs, casino, race book. They have everything. And they are the most reputable sports book and the biggest sports book in the United States. So definitely hustle over there and jump aboard with BetUS. What we have with BetUS right now is a phenomenal offer just for our DFS Coach Talk listeners, and it is a 125% match on your first deposit. So if you want to even throw $100 in there, good folks at BetUS will give you a $125 free play. All you have to do is use the promo code Coach Talk, all one word, no space, Coach Talk. And when you sign up, and you will see that 125% match of that first deposit in your account. So definitely go over there, take advantage of that. I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to get some football, NFL football in there, and certainly the NBA playoffs have been fantastic. All right, let's quickly go to the betus.com.pa line here, and it is up right now. Let's see. Yes, Clippers, Nuggets. The Clippers are an 8.5-point favorite, and the over-under in this game is 214.5. So very interesting. Similar to the last game, which was really surprising that Denver was able to win that game. I think we all thought the Clippers were going to close out the series, but it's a game 6. Denver did come back from being 3-1 down in the last series to win it against Utah. So I'm sure they've got the Clippers' attention. I've got to think the Clippers come out very focused and look to close this out, because if it goes to a game 7, we all know anything can happen in a single elimination game. So, we don't have another game to bumper this against, so it's going to be a showdown slate, and it's going to be, determining exactly how we think this is going to game script out. And, again, I think the Clippers want to close this out. I think they come out pretty intense and go after it, but Denver has obviously proven they're going to hang in there. And if it's an elimination game, they're going to get some extra minutes for some of their key players. So what I'd like to do is sort of take a look at the value plays and work up to the more expensive guys. And we do have a little bit of difference between the sites. Excuse me. There you go. It's a sneeze for good luck. But there are some different prices on the two sites that we can point out as we go on here that definitely affects some of the value plays. Let's start out with a couple of what I think are reasonable value spots for you to take advantage of in this game. JaMychal Green is 5,100 on DraftKings, dirt cheap. He has been getting a decent run, and certainly somebody to consider. And then right above him at 5,700 is Monte Morris, who's played well coming off the bench. He's even played alongside Murray in some of the runs. So you can look at those two as possible cheap plays, value plays that help you get in some of the higher price guys. Guys that start leaking into that mid-level pricing are guys I'm most interested in. If you guys are listeners to our NBA show every day, and we're 7 days a week, I've had really good success with those medium salary build lineups. So I want to try to stay consistent with that. Here are the guys I'm looking at in that mid pricing that still lets you buy up. And you also can even consider these guys in that captain spot on DraftKings. Price-wise, it really saves you as well. So let's look at these guys. Patrick Beverly, 6,300. These are for the captain spots, by the way. So I'm talking captain pricing. To give you an idea on the regular pricing, JaMychal Green's 3,400, Monte Morris 3,800, Patrick Beverly 4,200. As the captain, he would be 6,300. Still really cheap. He's getting more run. He can put up some solid fantasy numbers, with some steals. He usually, throws something like a block in there, and he'll get some fantasy points. So definitely something to consider. Right above him, again, this is DraftKings pricing. 4,600 is Montrezl Harrell, which again is cheap for him. 6,900 if you put him in the captain spot. And a guy you have to consider. Zubats has played better. He's getting a few extra minutes, which has taken a little bit of value away from Harrell. But certainly at that price, somebody you can consider, or you could even consider both Harrell and Zubats. I mean, it's, with these showdown slates, positions mean nothing. So you can stack some big guys if you want to go that direction. A couple of guys right above them, I'm not interested this time in Gary Harris. I just think he's a defensive minded guy, and they did rotate him out with some other people like Torrey Craig and a few guys. So I'm not really pushing Gary Harris. Paul Millsap, same thing. I don't know if I trust his run. He has been, successful. He had a good stretch, especially in the third quarter in this last game where he really did step up. But you can't trust the minutes and the production when he's out there. Now you start getting into my territory here. Marcus Morris Sr., again, a guy that can fill it up on occasion. He's averaging 27.4 in the bubble and in the playoffs. So that's a guy that is going to be on my list to consider. And that's the price, 8,100. I'm sorry, 8,700 for the captain spot. His regular price, if you use him in the utility, is only 5,800. So very reasonable. Right above him are the other three guys that I'm looking at. So this is the pocket. These like 6 or 7 guys that are priced very fairly here give you a definite path if you want to roster 2 of the 3 big guns, which I consider Kawhi, the Joker, and Murray. I think Paul George is slightly behind those 3. But it does give you the opportunity to get a combination of 2 of those even top 4 guys. There is a massive drop-off after Leonard, Jokic, Murray, and George. you then get into completely this second flight of guys, the ones that I'm going to mention here, because these are the other guys I think you need to take a look at to consider. Michael Porter Jr., obviously, he did not get a whole lot of shots up after he said he needs more touches, but he did get extra minutes and some key run. He had a couple of big rebounds, a block. So he is getting more action. And I think he's worth considering here. He's certainly really wanting the limelight, and they're going to need some production from him offensively off the bench. He's 7,600 normal salary, and he jumps up to 11.4 as your captain. Then a couple of guys I've used quite a bit here. Lou Williams, he's 8,400 now, though. He's moved up all the way up to 12.6 as your captain. So I'm a little wary. I think he's sort of gotten priced to a point now where it's a little bit difficult to fit him in. And then, like I mentioned, then you get into the big boys. You've got Paul George at 9,600, which would be 14.4 as the captain. You've got Jamal Murray at 10 even, which is 15 even as the captain. And then your two big dogs, the Joker's 10.8, which is 16.2 as the captain, and Kawhi at 11.4, $600 higher than the Joker, a pretty big 17.1 shot as the captain. So in reviewing all those prices, I think there's two builds that I'm looking at here that I want to discuss. But before I get into that specific, those two particular builds, and I'll probably use one more in cash and one in GPP, I do want to mention it is going to be busy here on Sunday at DFS Coach Talk. So, jump in. This is the time to do it. Our pricing is designed so when you're in as a member and you're in Discord, you get absolutely everything that we've got, all of our sports, all of our content. We produce a complete lineup in Fanduel, and we do what we call the coach's clipboard in DraftKings. And that gives you a pool of players with a highlighted core and an asterisk by those that we're recommending just for GPP play. So it gives you a real good foundation. We do that for all of our main sports: basketball, football, baseball, and golf. So tomorrow, because they all started about the same time, you're going to want to jump in our Discord a good hour before lock for these, which are all, again, around the same time. And you will see we'll be in there discussing strategy. We have tremendous community that's going to be talking about all the players. I know there'll be a big buzz with, the NFL kickoff. And so you want to jump in there, and you can check those lineups out, ask questions, and go through the whole aspect of things. And, what I would recommend doing, though, either when you listen to this, it'll post early morning here on Sunday, or in the morning, I would make sure you select your contests in whatever sports you're playing, get those set, put a skeleton lineup in there, get that set, because you don't want to have to try to do that. The other fear is, especially with FanDuel lately, they may crash or stall right towards lock. I mean, with football starting, and then all the other two main sports with basketball and baseball around the same lock, I have no idea what's going to happen. So my strong recommendation is you get in Discord, check out our lineups. We'll be posting basketball and baseball about an hour before lock because of this expected jam up with everybody trying to play. And then we'll do football a good 30 minutes prior. So you'll have a chance that you're not jamming them in at the last second, but, it still gives us a time to make sure, in baseball to check the weather, in basketball to make sure there's no late news, and the same thing with football. So we're going to keep you all the updated information, and, it is the place to be. You can follow us on Twitter as well. We post a lot of information on there. We'll be on there in the morning You can reach any of us at DFS Coach Talk. I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. Andrew is at Language Olympic, and Shane is at DET Sports Shane. Check us out on YouTube, DFS Coach Talk, Instagram, DFS_Coach Talk, and on Instagram. And if you're watching us right now, or watching me, I should say, on YouTube, please mash that subscribe button and the thumbs up, and hit the little alarm button there in the right corner so that when our podcast posts, you're given an alert and you can check them out. So really, really appreciate that. Also, if you want to sign up with Coach Talk, we do have a fall special that started September 1st, really designed to cover all of the football season. It runs all the way until the end of December. So you've got 4 months of Coach Talk action and all the sports that we cover for $199. If you want to just join as a week-long, month-long member or annual member, we have rates for all of those. All you have to do is go to dfscoachtalk.com, and everything else right there is self-explanatory to subscribe. So we'd love to have you. We have the fastest growing community in the industry, and we're having a blast. We really are. Our winning percentage in the NBA is 79.2%. So we are just under that 80% threshold. That's my ultimate goal. Is anything in the 70s is phenomenal, but we're trying to break the high point record here. I am for the basketball side here for the last 4 years. 80% is a goal I've been trying to reach, and I've been flirting in the 70s there for a while, but I think this is the year we got to finish strong in the playoffs, and we'll get it. All right, the two strategies for building lineups. I think what you need to do is one of two things. I think you go with Kawhi and bite the bullet as your main captain, and then put a secondary big stud in there, either the Joker or Murray or George, but I would prefer the Joker or Murray. So then you have two real concrete guys that should lead their teams in DFS points. Murray and Jokic are close. And then, you're going to have to drop below probably George and Williams, and then look at that group that we went over all of their pricing. Porter, Zubac, Grant, Morris Sr., Montrez, Pat Beverly, maybe Monte Morris or JaMychal Green. Those are the guys I would consider personally, and I think you can come up with a pretty balanced lineup. The other way to go, which I'm probably going to use in my cash lineup, is try to avoid some of those higher propensity to not make value on those guys on the bottom, and try to either roster Kawhi or the Joker. I'm leaning towards Kawhi right now, and then just jump below the Joker and Murray, and then you can build out a team of that combination of guys between George, Porter, Zubac, Grant, and Morris, and you don't have to go below those guys to the Harrells, Beverleys, and Monte Morris. I was talking about Marcus Morris Sr. On the other one. So, there's two ways you can approach it. I think those are the two most reasonable routes. There will be somebody that tries, a lot of people maybe try to jam in Leonard, Jokic, and Murray, but then, you're talking the other three are going to be at the very bottom of the barrel here. So, you sometimes shoot yourself in the foot trying to get the big numbers up top if the other guys can't produce. And it's a little, it's a lot different on FanDuel. We know that the build there, the pricing doesn't matter, but those three first spots do at 2 times the value, 1.5 and 1.2. So there, I think you have to have two of the studs in those three spots, or it's just too much catch up. So, Kawhi and Joker or Kawhi and Murray, Murray's actually cheaper than Paul George by $500 on FanDuel, which is sort of shocking to me. So, I can see right now I'm leaning towards Leonard and Murray in those 1-2 spots. And then that's where you have to make a decision. There's only 3 additional spots. You only roster 5 on FanDuel. That's where you have to start balancing out, the guys like Porter at 10, Marcus Morris Sr. 9.5, Luz at 9.5, and then you have Zubats at 9, which is not bad. I think Pat Beverly also at 9 is a decent price. Jeremy Grant, he's gotten some big minutes in this series, is 85. And then once you get below that, it starts getting a little rough. So, it's you can come up with a build. There's no question where you can get 2 of these studs at the top of it. And then it's really going to come down to who you want to roster in those utility spots that can make a difference. So that's the approach I'm going to take. I'm going to build that one hybrid lineup on FanDuel that I'll plug in everywhere. And then on DraftKings, because of the huge variance of pricing, having to pay that captain 1.5 times his salary, I'll build more of a cash lineup, as I mentioned, and then a GPP lineup as well. So if you want to get all of that, jump into our Discord. We'll be posting everything in the morning. We'll all be in there with all these sports going on. So we'll have a lot of activity for sure. All right. Again, I want to thank our presenting sponsor of today's NBA podcast, and that is BetUS. You can go to dfscoachtalk.com, click on the BetUS banner there, or you can go right to betus.com.pa and sign up there and use the promo code Coach Talk, all one word, no space, and you'll get 125% of that first deposit. Great place, like I say, for all of your sports action. And if you like casino and horses, they're really a one-stop shop, and they're extremely respected in the industry. I've actually had a BetUS membership for 13 years. They've been around 17 years. So, you're not getting a fly-by-night organization here. They're well-respected. Their payouts are great, and I highly recommend them. All right. The charity of choice here at DFS Coach Talk is mambaon3.org. That's MAMBAONTHREE.org. It is an awesome charity set up by the Bryan family. So again, I want to thank everybody for listening. Different to do a solo show. I miss my partner in crime here, Andrew Hansen, and haven't done much with him lately because he's been all into the football side of things. So those guys are crushing that. So if you have a chance, Sunday morning or late Saturday night here, check out both our football podcast, which is posting shortly, and our basketball podcast, which obviously you're listening to now, so you found that out. So check those out and then jump in with us Sunday morning. We'd love to have you. And, with that, I think we've got some good strategy for tomorrow. Don't get overwhelmed at the end. Don't wait to the last minute tomorrow and expect the sites to freeze up, especially FanDuel. It's been crashing lately. So get in early, get those lineups locked in. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM here on YouTube. I'm at Joe Sarvati on Twitter. Happy to discuss anything, strategy, whatever I can do to help. So we really appreciate you. Thank you for joining in. We will not have an NBA show tomorrow night because there is not an NBA game on Monday. The next game is Tuesday. So we will be off, which will be really weird because we haven't missed a single NBA game, and there is no game Monday. So we'll be back for the Tuesday slate, and I'll be back in here with Andrew. So thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you kill it in all the sports you play tomorrow, and we'll certainly be here for you at Coach Talk, and we'll be looking to crush it in DFS.